When I first moved in with Jess, I thought I'd basically won the roommate lottery. We were both 21, both students at the same university, both tired of dorm life and ready for a real apartment. The place we found was perfect. A small but bright 2-bedroom near campus. Cheap enough if we split it, with a little balcony where I pictured us drinking coffee and pretending to be adults. The lease had both our names on it. 2 tenants. 2 bedrooms. Simple. What I didn't fully understand at the time was that simple and Jess do not belong in the same sentence. Because while I signed up for a roommate, Jess apparently signed up for a roommate, and a +1. Or more accurately, a +1 who never left. His name was Tyler, and if my life were a sitcom, he'd be the character the audience boos every time he walks on screen. But I'm getting ahead of myself. My name is Avery, by the way. And this is the story of how my roommate let her boyfriend move in without asking, so I read the lease very carefully, quietly checked the building rules, and then rented the other bedroom to the one person she hated more than anyone, her ex-best friend. When we first toured the apartment, it was just the 2 of us. Jess was all sunshine and big plans. "We'll do Taco Tuesdays," she said, bouncing from room to room. "And wine and Netflix Fridays. It'll be so fun." I'd met her the year before in a sociology class. She was loud, friendly, and had that magnetic energy that made you feel cooler just standing near her. She also had a boyfriend, Tyler, who I had met exactly twice. Once at a party where he did a keg stand, and once at the dining hall, where he ordered 3 burgers and talked about himself for 20 minutes. He wasn't my type, but he wasn't my problem. Or so I thought. The first month in the apartment was great. We split chores. Jess decorated the living room with thrift store finds. I organized the kitchen like the type of middle child I am. We had movie nights and made fun of the couples who argued loudly in the parking lot. "Imagine living with a guy," Jess said once, rolling her eyes. "No offense, but I like girl roommates. Less drama." I happily agreed. I had my own room, my own bathroom, and relative peace. Then gradually Tyler started appearing. At first it was just Tyler spending the night once or twice a week. No big deal. I could hear him thumping around at 2 a.m., raiding the fridge, laughing too loud at TikToks, but I told myself, it's temporary. Couples need time together. Then a couple nights became most nights. His toothbrush appeared in the bathroom. Then his gym bag in the hallway. Then his Xbox under the TV. I came home from class one afternoon and found him on the couch in his boxers, surrounded by empty soda cans, playing video games. "Hey," I said, trying to be friendly. "Where's Jess at work?" he said, eyes still on the screen. "She said I could hang here." He didn't move his feet, even though they were on my throw blanket. "Okay," I said. "How long have you been here?" He shrugged. "Since last night," he said. "I crashed after we watched that new show. Jess wanted me to stay so she wasn't lonely. It was a little annoying. But again, I let it go. I told myself I was being uptight. I did not yet understand that Tyler had 2 settings, inconsiderate boyfriend and full-time parasite. The night that flipped the switch from annoying to problem was a Wednesday. I had an 8 a.m. exam the next morning. Jess knew this. I'd been talking about it all week. "I'm going to bed early," I announced around 10 p.m., closing my laptop. "Big test tomorrow. Don't let me sleep through my alarm." "Gotcha," Jess said, curled up on the couch with her phone. Tyler was in the kitchen making nachos at a volume level usually reserved for construction sites. "I'll keep quiet," he said, winking. "Promise." At 1:17 a.m., I woke up to the sound of bass. Thump. Voices shouting, laughter. I checked my phone. 3 texts from Jess. "You awake? Tyler's boys are coming over for just a little bit. That okay?" Sent 40 minutes ago. I stumbled into the hallway. The living room was full of people. Red Solo cups. A beer pong table made out of our dining table and 2 folding chairs. Tyler yelling "brew" every 10 seconds. Jess saw me and ran over. "Hey!" she yelled over the music. "Sorry, did we wake you?" "Yes," I said. "I have an exam in the morning." "It's just a few of Tyler's friends," she said. "They had nowhere else to go. We'll keep it down, I swear." As if on cue, somebody knocked over a lamp. Everyone laughed. I looked at Tyler. "Dude, chill," he said, grinning. "We'll be done soon. You can sleep when you're dead." Something in me snapped. Turn it off, I said, pointing at the speaker. The room went silent. Jess's eyes widened. Whoa, she said. Okay, no need to freak out. I asked you to keep it quiet, I said. This is not quiet. Tyler scoffed. Chill, Mom, he said. You're being dramatic. Get out, I said. Jess pulled me aside. Can we talk? She hissed. We stepped into the kitchen. What is your problem? She whispered. My problem is that our apartment has turned into Tyler's frat house, I whispered back. He's here all the time. He doesn't pay rent. He doesn't ask. And now there's a party at 1 a.m. on a Wednesday. It's one night, she said. He basically lives here anyway. The words slipped out too fast. What? I said. He what? She clapped a hand over her mouth. Nothing, she said. Forget I said that. No, I said. Repeat it. She took a breath. Okay, yes, she said. He kinda moved in. But like, informally. His lease at his old place was up, and it was stupid for him to sign a new one when he's here 24/7 anyway. My stomach dropped. When were you going to tell me? I asked. She shrugged helplessly. I thought you knew, she said. He's here all the time. I figured it was obvious. Obvious is not the same as asked, I said. You never asked. You just did it. It's not a big deal, she said. He sleeps in my room. He's barely home. It's like having 1.5 roommates instead of 2. Does he pay anything? I asked. He buys groceries sometimes, she said. And he Venmo'd me for Wi-Fi last month. I almost laughed. Rent? I said. Utilities? Parking? She rolled her eyes. God, you sound like my mother, she said. It's not that deep. It is that deep, I said. Because our lease says maximum 2 occupants unless the landlord approves more. Because I signed up to live with you, not with you and your boyfriend. Because my rent didn't go down when he moved in. She crossed her arms. You're overreacting, she said. Most girls would be happy their roommate's boyfriend likes hanging out. I'm not most girls, I said. I'm the girl paying half the bills while a grown man uses our couch as his second spine. Jess's expression hardened. If you hate it so much, maybe you should move out, she said. I stared at her. I thought of the deposit I'd paid, the months left on the lease, the insane rental market around campus. I'm not the one who broke the agreement, I said quietly. You did. I went back to my room. The music was lower after that, but I barely slept. I bombed the exam. Jess didn't apologize. Instead, she acted like I was the one who'd crossed a line. That's when I realized I couldn't just keep nagging. I needed leverage. And as it turned out, I had some. It was sitting in a folder in my desk. My copy of the lease. I read the lease that night like it was a thriller. No extra occupants without landlord approval. No subletting without written notice. Maximum occupancy. 3 adults. Rent split. 1 payment from tenant 1, 1 from tenant 2. We had both signed as tenants, not primary and secondary. We were equals on paper at least. Tyler was nowhere on that document. I called the landlord the next day. Not to snitch. Just to ask questions. Hi, this is Avery from 3B, I said. I had a couple of questions about the lease. The property manager, a woman named Carla, sounded pleasantly bored. Shoot, she said. If I wanted to sublet my room in the future, I asked, what would that involve? You'd need to give us 30 days written notice, she said. We'd run a background check on the new tenant if they pass, we add them to the lease. You and your roommate would still be jointly responsible though. Why, you thinking of moving out? Maybe next semester, I lied. Just planning ahead. She added, almost as an afterthought, also, FYI, we've had some complaints about extra people crashing in units. Just a reminder, anyone living there more than 10 days a month needs to be on the lease. My heart thudded. 10 days? I repeated, keeping my voice neutral. Yeah, she said. Guests are fine, but full-time boyfriends are a no unless they're approved. Fire code, parking, utilities, all that. Got it, I said. I hung up, my mind spinning. I could have reported Tyler then. Told Carla he'd basically moved in. She'd probably have given Jess a warning. Maybe even threatened eviction. But that would have made me the narc. The villain in Jess's story. I didn't want nuclear war. I wanted balance. And maybe, just a tiny bit, revenge. An opportunity presented itself sooner than I expected. Maya entered the picture through a group chat. Maya and Jess had been best friends freshman year. They were inseparable, same parties, same Instagram posts, same matching tattoos, a tiny wave on their ankles, which I'm sure they both now regret. Then, sophomore year, there was the incident. Exactly what happened depends on who you ask. According to Jess, Maya backstabbed her by telling the RA that Jess had cheated on a take-home exam. According to Maya, she'd been backed into a corner when the professor found identical answers from half the floor and threatened to fail everyone if nobody came clean. Whichever version you believe, the result was the same. Jess got a 0 on the exam and had to retake the class. Maya got labeled a snitch and lost half her social circle. They hadn't spoken in over a year. I was friendly with both, caught in the middle. I stayed mostly neutral. Then, a few weeks after the party from hell, Maya texted the group chat where we used to coordinate movie nights. Does anyone know of a room opening near campus for next semester? My roommate is moving in with her boyfriend, and I can't afford the place alone. I stared at the message, then at my lease, then at Tyler's gym bag, which was currently blocking the hallway. An idea started to coalesce. Crazy. Petty. Technically legal. And, if I pulled it off, beautifully symmetrical. Jess had moved someone in without asking me. What if I, only with someone she hated? Someone who wouldn't let Tyler skate by rent-free. Someone who remembered the incident very clearly. I DM'd Maya privately. Are you open to living with someone you used to be friends with but now low-key hate? Asking for science. She responded with a string of skull emojis. Who? Jess. There was a long pause. You're messing with me. I'm not. Long story. She unofficially moved her boyfriend into our 2BR. I'm on the lease too. We can add a third tenant. Landlord says fine as long as they pass a background check. And you want me to move in there? I want someone in that second bedroom who isn't freeloading, knows how to read a lease, and isn't afraid to stand up to her. Bonus if she has her own grudge. Another pause. Then how bad is she right now? I sent a photo. Tyler sprawled on the couch, shirtless, controller in hand, a mountain of dishes in the sink behind him. Rent? Utilities? Send me the application. I didn't tell Jess right away. That would have given her time to sabotage it. Instead, I sent Maya's info to Carla. She passed the background check easily. Steady part-time job at the campus bookstore. Decent credit. No evictions. Carla emailed both me and Jess. Per Avery's request, we're adding a third tenant, Maya Lopez, to the lease effective August 1st. Please stop by the office this week to sign the updated documents. I watched Jess read the email at the kitchen table. Her face went through 3 distinct emotions. Confusion. Annoyance. Then full-body horror. She spun around. What is this? She demanded, waving her phone. New roommate, I said casually. We needed someone to help with bills. We? She echoed. You did this without me? I raised an eyebrow. Like you did with Tyler? I asked. She flushed. That's different, she said. He's my boyfriend. And Maya is our new lease-approved tenant, I said. Carla said the unit can have 3 adults. You and I are both on the lease. I exercised my right to fill an empty spot. Her eyes narrowed. Why Maya? She hissed. You know I hate her. I shrugged. She needed a place, I said. We needed rent. She passed the check. Seems practical. You did this to hurt me, she said. I met her gaze. I did it to fix the imbalance, I said. You added a person who only answers to you. I added one who won't be afraid to call you out. Think of it as democracy. You're insane, she said. Maybe, I said. But I'm not the one hiding a 4th roommate from the landlord. Her mouth opened. Closed. You wouldn't, she said. I didn't answer. I didn't have to. Tyler chose that moment to shuffle in, scratching his stomach. What's going on? He mumbled. Nothing, Jess snapped. I smiled. Oh, just planning the roommate meeting, I said. You, me, Jess and Maya. Once she moves in, of course. He frowned. Who's Maya? He asked. Jess groaned. You are going to ruin my life, she muttered. Pretty sure that's my line, I said. Moving day was tense. Maya showed up with a U-Haul and 2 friends. She wore her old RA shirt ironically. Jess hovered in the hallway, arms crossed. Tyler stuck to her like a suspicious barnacle. "Hey," Maya said when she walked in. "Hey," Jess said flatly. "This is going to be fun," Maya said, voice dripping sarcasm. "Kill me now," Jess muttered. I clapped my hands. "Okay," I said brightly. "Let's do a quick tour. Maya, you get my old room." I moved my stuff into the smaller one. Jess blinked. "What?" she said. "You didn't tell me you were switching rooms." "Why would I?" I said. "You didn't tell me you were adding a nightly snorer to the living room." The room distribution wasn't entirely petty. My old room was slightly bigger and had better light. I wanted Maya comfortable. I also wanted Jess to realize that things were changing now. We signed the updated lease at Carla's office. Carla looked pointedly at Tyler, who was hovering in the background. "And you are—" "He's just visiting," Jess said quickly. "Huh?" Carla said, not buying it. "Remember, guests more than 10 days a month need to be added to the lease. Fire codes and all." Jess nodded tightly. "Yes, we know," she said. Maya caught my eye and smirked. Phase 1, complete. The first week with Maya in the apartment was awkward, but oddly satisfying. She and Jess mostly avoided each other. Maya kept to her room or the kitchen. Jess kept to her room or Tyler's lap. Tyler, however, hated the new arrangement immediately. "Why is there another person here?" he grumbled one night while blocking the hallway. "Because you live here," Maya said sweetly. "And you don't pay rent. Someone has to." He scowled. "I help out," he said. "I take the trash sometimes." "Congrats," she said. "You've achieved raccoon status." I snorted into my tea. Jess glared at both of us. At our first official roommate meeting, yes, I printed an agenda. We laid out ground rules. There would be a cleaning schedule. Quiet hours after 11 p.m. on weeknights. Shared items, toilet paper, cleaning supplies, split 3 ways. Guests limited to 3 nights a week unless everyone agreed otherwise. Jess rolled her eyes at all of it. Tyler scoffed loudly from the couch. "Who died and made you the landlord?" he asked Maya. "The actual landlord," she said calmly, holding up the lease. "We're tenants now." "You're not. Sit down." He opened his mouth, then shut it. Because here's the thing. He didn't want his name on any documents that might hold him financially responsible. He liked his ghost tenant status. But that also meant he had no real say. And for the first time, someone other than me was willing to use that. Jess grumbled, but signed the roommate agreement we drew up anyway. "You're being ridiculous," she said. "We're friends. Friends don't need contracts. Roommates do," I said. "You taught me that." Things didn't magically become peaceful. If anything, the tension level in the apartment went up, but in a direction I could live with. Because now, when Tyler left his dishes in the sink, it wasn't just me fuming. It was Maya banging on their door at 7 a.m. saying, "Clean up after your man-child, or I'm putting all of this in a trash bag and leaving it outside." When Jess cranked the music at midnight, it wasn't just my texts she ignored. It was Maya turning off the surge protector and saying, "House rule, no concerts after 11. Take it to your car if you need subwoofers." And when rent was due, there was now a third voice asking, loudly, "So when is Tyler going to start paying for the water he uses in 45-minute showers?" Jess cracked first. About a month in, she cornered me in the kitchen. "You have to make her move out," she said. I raised an eyebrow, sipping my coffee. "On what grounds?" I asked. "She pays rent. She cleans. She doesn't throw parties on exam nights." "She's toxic," Jess said. "You don't know how fake she is. She ruined my life sophomore year. She reported cheating in a class," I said. "That's not ruining. That's consequences." "You're taking her side," Jess said, hurt. "I'm taking the side of not living in a free hostel for your boyfriend," I said. "Maya living here means you two can't just steamroll the rest of us." Jess's eyes filled with tears. "I thought we were friends," she said. "We were," I said softly. "Until you decided your relationship mattered more than our agreement." I could see the words land. She blinked them away. "Whatever," she said. "Tyler and I are looking for our own place anyway. Then you and your new BFF can have each other." "Okay," I said. "Just remember you're still on this lease until May. Even if you move out early, you're responsible for your share of the rent." She flinched. "What?" she said. I pointed to the lease. "Joint and several liability," I said. Means if you bail, we can still make you pay. Or the landlord can take you to collections. Adulting, remember? Her face crumpled. No one explained that, she muttered. I tried, I said. You were too busy picking out throw pillows. In the end, it wasn't one big explosion that drove them out. It was a series of small, relentless realities. The landlord doing a surprise inspection after reports of extra vehicles in the lot. Carla standing in our living room, counting heads, and saying casually, Tyler, right? I'm going to need you to fill out an application or stop staying here full time. Policy. Tyler mumbling something about crashing with a friend and then sulking for days when Jess asked him to chip in for utilities. Maya strategically forgetting to stock the fridge with Tyler's favorite snacks because, as she said, I don't subsidize grown men who don't even live here on paper. Jess trying to host a pregame before a football game, and Maya calmly reminding everyone, noise complaints go to the leaseholders. That's us, not your boyfriend. So maybe take it to his place? Except of course Tyler didn't have a place anymore. Just Jess's room, which started to feel smaller and smaller as the rest of the apartment refused to revolve around him. One night, I overheard them arguing through the thin wall. You never used to be like this, Tyler said. You used to let me crash wherever. Now it's all rules, and Maya said. I'm tired, Jess said, voice tight. I'm tired of being the only one covering your half. I'm tired of Avery being mad. I'm tired of Maya watching us like a hall monitor. So kick her out, he said. I can't, Jess snapped. She's on the lease. So is Avery. So am I. You're not. Silence. Then softer. Look, let's just find our own place, she said. Somewhere we can do what we want. You going to pay for that too? He muttered. The next morning, there was a new tab open on Jess's laptop. 1-bedroom apartments under $1,000. Within a month, they'd signed a lease across town. By October, they were gone. They'd moved out their pile of neon tapestries in Tyler's Xbox. Jess left us a note on the counter. I'm sorry things got so messed up between us. I still think what you did with Maya was petty, but I get why you were mad. I hope your semester is less stressful now. There was no forwarding address. But Carla had it. For rent collection purposes. Maya and I looked at each other in the empty apartment. Well, she said. That was something. Thank you, I said. For what? She asked, flopping onto the couch. For being someone she hates, I said. And someone I can live with. She laughed. Anytime, she said. If she hadn't screwed me over sophomore year, I might feel bad for her now. You don't? I asked. She thought about it. Okay, a little, she admitted. But not enough to miss Tyler's 2 a.m. microwave burritos. Living with Maya after that was normal. Peacefully, gloriously normal. We split utilities fairly. We alternated cleaning the bathroom. We warned each other about overnight guests more than 10 minutes in advance. It felt like what being roommates was supposed to be. Every once in a while we'd get updates about Jess and Tyler through the grapevine. They'd broken up 3 months after getting their own place. He'd bailed on the lease, she'd been stuck with double rent. She'd tried to move back in with her parents, they'd said no. Part of me felt vindicated. Another part, the softer one that still remembered Taco Tuesday plans and late-night gossip, felt sad. Do you think we went too far? I asked Maya once. She raised an eyebrow. You mean by existing with boundaries? She said. No, I mean with specifically picking you, I said. Knowing she'd hate it. Maya smirked. Oh, that? She said. That was just dessert. The main course was you not having to live in a bros crash pad anymore. She got serious. Look, she said. Jess made choices. She chose her boyfriend over her roommate. She chose to ignore the lease. You chose to read it. Actions have consequences. You didn't evict her. You just added a witness. She had a point. I hadn't forced Jess out. I just removed the option of me silently absorbing all the discomfort while she and Tyler played house. Maya's presence made the imbalance visible. Once it was visible, Jess had to either fix it or leave. She chose door number 2. I chose peace. Sometimes people hear this story and say, why didn't you just kick the boyfriend out? Simple answer. Because I didn't have the power to. Not alone. Not without blowing up my own housing situation. Our landlord could have started eviction proceedings for violating the lease. But that would have hurt both of us, not just Jess and Tyler. I could have moved out myself. but then I'd be the one scrambling for rent money and deposits. Instead, I used the tools I did have. The lease that put me on equal footing. The occupancy rules that allowed a third paid tenant. The knowledge of Jess's past drama with Maya. I didn't trash anyone's property. I didn't lie to the landlord. I didn't go nuclear. I just leveled the playing field. With someone she hated. And in the end, that was enough to make the freeloading stop. So yeah, my roommate let her boyfriend move in without asking. She turned our 2-bedroom into their private love nest with a free maid. So I read the lease, called the landlord, and rented the other bedroom to one person who would never let them forget they weren't the only ones living there. Her ex-best friend. Now Tyler's socks are someone else's problem. Jess's next roommate will probably read their lease a little closer. And Maya and I. We drink coffee on the balcony on quiet Sunday mornings, clink our mugs together, and occasionally toast to the most satisfying group project either of us has ever pulled off. Legally enforced roommate karma.